Hey Americans, welcome back to the Executive Chef Catering Facebook page. Chef Ron is on a host election Wednesday. You know, half of my friends, family, your friends, family, seen a lot of people telling me no appetite today. Specifically, about 48% of the country, no appetite today. I'm going to try to do something about that. So come on in today. We're going to do small plates, tapas, what we used to call appetizers, starting with this filetto di carne right now. Why don't I start with, we've got a tenderloin of beef here, and I want to show you how to trim this. Now, you pay a lot of money for filet mignon. It's, when you buy it cleaned up in the pound, if it's any good, it's going to cost you $20, $25 a pound. This is a Black Angus, grass-fed, New Zealand tenderloin of beef, and is available for about half that price if you buy the whole thing. Ron, what am I going to do with a whole tenderloin? I'm going to show you. First of all, trim the tenderloin and clean it. This is pretty well done. Now, I've seen these come at Stu Leonard's where they've got the whole fat cap and they're a real mess, and you flip them over and there's a big fat knuckle going all the way up and down, and this chain that runs up the side is almost the same size as the tenderloin. So this one's off to a pretty good start. And so we can verify both that it's import from the seal that was on it, and just that it's pretty lean. It was well handled. It's a very high grade. So we're going to start by pulling the chain off. The chain is this sort of thing that runs along the side. So if you catch this bit of fat on the top, boom, and just sort of let the weight of the fillet show you where the chain is, and the chain will just sort of relieve itself from the fillet. So we'll put that aside. Great for meatballs. You got to clean out some of the tendons and whatnot, or even just to use as a demi-glaze. Now, the fat and the silver, there's basically two components that we have to get rid of here, the fat and the silver skin. This is the fat, which pulls off very easily by hand, and this is the silver skin. You'll see it's, very sinewy, and the idea is to take your knife, catch underneath the silver skin, and just very carefully ride it up, because again, even at $15 a pound, we don't want to be throwing this stuff in the garbage. So again, underneath, riding it up, here it comes, boom. And just like when we did our salmon skin, check yourself occasionally, not much meat on there, doing pretty good. A little bit over here, a little bit over there, and there's a big fat cap sort of in the top elbow area there that we're just going to pull it right out. Thing, flip it over, same thing over here, a little bit of a fat part, let's get that out. One more silver skin, let's get that off, and peel out whatever fat is left. And boom, we're almost there. We're going to leave a little bit of this real fat on, as it's going to sear off so nicely in the pan, because we are going to braise this tenderloin with fresh herbs and peppercorns and a little mozzarella seasoning. Give it one roll over before you finish it up. There's always this little silver skin cap up near the head, the butt end as they call it. So we're going to pull that off. It's a little bit of bone still right there, bing. And then this is what I call the staircase on the back, sort of a fat staircase going down, 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 down. And if you just turn that away from yourself and nick it off, one. Again, we're just going to leave a little bit on, just enough that it'll melt beautifully, add to the flavor of the tenderloin. That's all good, and voila. Now, what is a chateau? A chateau, or the filet, as they call filet mignons, is right out of the middle of this tenderloin. We, for our purposes, are going to do a display of cold roast beef with horseradish sauce. So, we're going to trim it a little bit. We'll take down, because we want it to be more or less a tube of beef that'll cook at about the same time and temperature. So we're going to cut this little piece off on the side here, and then this fat sort of part, I don't want to take that whole thing off, but check it out. If we cut it right here and sort of roll it in, now these two pieces here could be great little tenderloin tips. We'll cook them up with some mushrooms. We'll all have that for dinner. Now I'm just going to square off this top, And I'm just gonna lop off this tail a little bit. Again, this stuff, good for stock. This stuff, great for dinner. This stuff, for the customer. Grab a sheet pan. What do we got? Ron's favorite, little bacon fat. We'll start with that. Sort of rub it through. Roll it over, same deal. And then in this bowl here, a teaspoon of garlic, teaspoon of shallot. Here we've got, what's that, tablespoon and a half of diced scallion. And I've got some fresh herbs here, rosemary, parsley. And this is that Montreal seasoning that we were talking about. Just a little bit of olive oil. And what we're doing here is just sort of wettening up this herb rub that we are then going to coat the beef with. Make sure you get all the sides, don't forget the ends. Roll it. Back side, top side. And it's ready to go. And let's go into the pan with it. You've got, I don't know, about 800 degrees, probably the pan's on full heat, cast iron skillet. And we're just gonna try to sear it all the way around, roll it around. Trying to keep finding the hot spot of the pan. The trick is, once we go to the oven with this thing, we want the sear to hold all the juices in so we can still cook our rare, medium rare, a la a nice roast beef at the deli. Only a really nice roast beef at the deli is what we're going to be dealing with here. And we'll serve it with some beautiful horseradish sauce, some crostini. Good to go. And that's about it. You see nice crusted seasoning. The herbs are looking good. And we're gonna go into the lower oven on this one because we don't want the convection blasting it too hard. So we've got it about 350 degrees, 325, 350. That's gonna go for about a half an hour and it's done. Oh, look at that. Smells great. I mean, just really smells great. This is, like when I was a kid and we would go to Bonanza Steakhouse and they were back there on the grill and, the smoke and the fire and it was, the fat and it's just awesome. That's a great smell right there. So we're going to just slice up the tenderloin, do a little garnish here with cucumbers and serve it up with some horseradish and dill cream sauce. Beef tenderloin, you can sit it on the counter. A lot of people are afraid of that. Nobody does room temperature anymore. Let me tell you something. When I was in Italy, you walk into somebody's house, there'd be a prosciutto basically hanging on a hook in everybody's living room. You come on in and sort of, what's that smell? It took a while to really learn to love and appreciate that. But once I did, it was unbelievable. People come in, the host would trim a little bit of the exterior crust off, usually mold. Cut a piece of the prosciutto, hand it over, and literally melt in your mouth. Unbelievable. But roast beef, once it's cooked properly, cooled properly, remember, foodborne bacteria, it's about speed. Get it up to temp quick, get it down to temp quick, and you'll be fine. So here we go. Let's see what we did. I'm just gonna cut more or less our roast beef into little bite-sized slices. We cook this son of a gun till right up to 105 degrees and let it rest. And as you can see from the middle here, we're right where we want to be. It's a long night last night for me, so everybody, right? As we get up toward the top, as you're serving this to your guests, the wider, as you get up towards the top, the rarer the meat. So the more well done, obviously down towards this end, the tail piece, the rarer will be up here towards the top. And the other thing to remember is do not slice immediately. You need to let the meat rest a little bit. Otherwise, everything's just gonna pour out of it as soon as you cut it up. 10, 15, 20 minutes tops. But with this, you could serve this. Serve it up, leave it out, half hour, an hour. As your guests come and eat it, it'll be perfectly fine. No need to reheat it. No need to chill it. Just get down and get noshing on some awesome roast beef. Now we're going to serve this with a little horseradish cream. What is it? It's horseradish and cream, specifically sour cream. So we've got a sour cream here, we've got some Dijon. I'm going to squeeze in a little lime juice because the lime juice is going to go just great with the scallion and the dill flavor that we have in there. And let's see what we got. It's all beef, it's awesome, it melts, literally. Right on the palate. The sauce is totally clearing out the sinuses. I love the lime in there. What a great idea, the lime juice, if I do say so myself. Folks, relax out there. If anybody unfriended you, they were never your friend to begin with. Stay with it, stay with the peace, the love, the understanding, the whole thing, and let's all feed each other. Speaking of which, tomorrow, come on in. We're going to stay with the tapas thing. We're going to do little pork roulettes. Can you ever have too much pork? We're going to find out tomorrow on Chef Ron is On. Like it, love it, share it, follow. See you then.